hope there's not a smudge on you. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke. If you're new here, I'm 28. I have Pfeiffer syndrome. I'm hard of hearing, so I do wear hearing aids. I've got hydrocephalus. My elbows are fused, so I have very limited movement. Limited mobility, not movement. I have really been loving sharing my life as someone living with the difference. I want to start this series on my channel. I guess it's not really starting this series because I've started it on a podcast I used to have. Started it on TikTok at one point. It is a series called Dating with a Difference, and it's all about my experience as someone who has been in the dating world as someone with a facial difference. Now, I have been with my husband for 7 years, but before that, I had about 3 years of heavy dating, both in person, online, and I want to share my experience with that because I didn't have someone that I could watch who had a difference, a facial difference that was dating. There was no one really sharing that about themselves during the time I was dating. That would have helped me so much, or at the very least, just have been entertaining. So I want to share my experience, and obviously, I'm gonna start out this series with my very first boyfriend and just kind of what led me to then dating in life. What led me to getting my first boyfriend, what led me to even want to put myself out there, because I was 18 years old when I got my first boyfriend. I'm gonna share everything. Grab a beverage, grab a snack. I'm having an Alani, but if I weren't having an Alani, I should be having water because I'm going out tonight. Not really. I'm going to book club, but we're gonna be drinking some wine, so therefore I should be hydrating, but I will hydrate after my Alani. The purple one, the Cosmic Stardust, is one of my favorite flavors. As I said, I was 18 years old, about 18. I was like barely a month shy of being 18 when I got my first boyfriend. But let's go into a little bit of backstory before then. I was someone who always wanted a boyfriend. I had always wanted a relationship. My cousins were in relationships starting at the age of like 9. I had friends in high school who had boyfriends, guys they were talking to. I never had that, but I really wanted it. I would daydream, I would fantasize about it, because to be honest with you, I had pretty much accepted that that was never going to be in the cards for me. I had a very limited mindset where I just never ever figured that I would have a relationship because of the way that I looked. I thought if it didn't happen by the age of 16, it probably wasn't gonna happen at all, which is incredibly limiting. But as I said, I didn't have someone that I could look up to. I didn't have someone that was a good example. I didn't have someone that I could watch to necessarily prove that it was worth trying. I just didn't have someone that I could watch that did it, that overcame having a difference, especially a facial difference, that overcame that and got the man of their dreams, got the person of their dreams. I never saw that, so therefore I didn't see it for myself, and that is horrible. And I wish I could go back to me at 16. Like, I wish I could go tell me at 16, girl, you are in for a ride. Just wait and have a little bit more confidence. But yeah, I had always wanted a relationship. The lighting might change. The sun is in and out today, which is good because I really want some sunshine. I remember going to Six Flags after my junior year, so the summer before senior year, with a bunch of my friends. And I asked my gay best friend if he would hold my hand while we walked through the parks, just so I could experience what it would be like to hold a guy's hand. Again, assuming I would never have that. And it felt good. And then I had that heavy dose of reality that I literally asked one of my guy friends to hold my hand. And that it wasn't embarrassing. You know, he was one of my very close friends, so it wasn't weird, but it was just sad that that's what it came to in order for me to have that feeling of being in a relationship. I wish I could go back and tell younger me that a lot was coming. While we are telling stories, in 5th grade, there was this guy who said, "I will be your pretend boyfriend if you give me a piece of gum, and I will do that for every day you give me a piece of gum." And we did that for about 3 days, but I just felt like I wasn't receiving my ROI. It didn't hit for me, and it was a nice offer, I guess, on his part, but it just, I knew that is not how a relationship was supposed to feel. So we did that for 3 days. It was your typical elementary school relationship. But yeah, I never really had a relationship until senior year of high school. So this is how it all started. I knew I was gonna go to prom, okay? I knew I was gonna go to senior prom. I didn't go to junior prom. I wanted to go with my friends and have the time of my life. I wanted to wear a pretty dress and get my hair done, get my nails done. I wanted that experience, and I did not at all feel like I needed a date to have that experience. However, my mom did feel like I needed a prom date in order to have the full prom experience. I'm sorry, Mom, I'm gonna out you a little bit here, but my mom in her high school days was gorgeous. She went to several school dances. She was the ITGIRL. She was gorgeous. My mom was amazing, is amazing. And she definitely saw potential in me that I did not see for myself. And to her, it didn't make sense that I didn't have a prom date, but to me, it made perfect sense. I find the perfect prom dress. My mom buys it for me, and I do one last try on for her before she hands over her credit card. She made a comment that really stuck with me, and she said, "God, Brooke, your dress is so beautiful. If only you had a date." That's just the type of mom that I have. And while I could look at it in a very negative light, whereas, you know, how dare my mom say that, and I'm good just as I am, and blah, 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 which I am, and she knows that, I decided to look at it as fuel. And I was like, I haven't even tried to get a date. So that's what I did. I kind of went over in my head all of my prospects, but really just guys that I talked to at least once periodically, which were not very many. I had my friend group, and it was mostly girls and a few gay guys, and then boyfriends of girls that were in our friend group. Like, yeah, so there just weren't any options there. But I had a debate class my senior year, and it was only me and like one other guy. Long story, but it was only 2 people in the class. The teacher even just gave us A's because we never had assignments, because it was just the 2 of us. It was okay. He was, you know, a friendly guy. We talked every now and then, but we mostly just played on our phones during that class, or treated it as like a study period. But I remember feeling very confident one day, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, are you going to prom?" And he was like, "No, I don't have a date." And I was like, you know, I was gonna go anyway, but you should go with me. Like, we should go to prom together. And he was like, "Okay." I was shocked. I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Sweet, okay, cool." So then the next day goes by, and I said to him in class the next day, I was like, you know, since we're going to prom together, we should probably go hang out outside of school at least once. Like, you're gonna be meeting my family because they're gonna want to take pictures of us. We should go out at least once, get to know each other a little bit. We should go on a date. And again, to my surprise, he said, "Okay." Now, am I upset that I had to make all of the first moves? No, not at all. All I needed was a little bit of confidence, and that took care of everything. I remember we went to the movies together, and we saw Divergent in theaters. Let me just say this. I know it's been said several times before, but going to the movies as a first date is a terrible idea. A terrible idea. It was so awkward. I was just really wanting to talk, honestly, and he held my hand, but like I had it in a weird position, so he grabbed it in a weird position, and I don't know, it just wasn't good, and I honestly was not focused on the movie at all because I was too focused on the fact that I'm on a date right now. I was sweating. I was too nervous to even get up and go to the bathroom. It was just a mess. It was just a mess. So just in case you happen to be watching this and you've not had your first date yet, please do not go to the movies. After the movies, we stood in the parking lot because we met there. We met at the movies. We stood in the parking lot next to our cars, just like kind of leaning up against the cars, and talked for like 3 hours about, I don't even know, but it was so good. We had a weird awkward hug at the end, got in our cars and went home, and then at school, I don't know, we just talked constantly. We just kind of never stopped talking. And then eventually, a few dates later, he took me to the park. We had a picnic, and then he like excused himself briefly and then came back to our picnic. But then when we walked back to his car for him to take me home, he had written on his car, "Prom, ? Will you be my girlfriend? ? And yeah, that was the story of how I got my very first boyfriend. We did not date for very long. We only dated a few months just because, I don't know, I was heading to college and we were going to college 3 hours away, and I just didn't see it as a realistic thing. And I don't know, even though I had never had a boyfriend before, I just wanted to experience college and going into that stress-free, single, because our relationship, it wasn't perfect. Like, we definitely weren't compatible, but it was a phenomenal first relationship. He was so good to me, such a gentleman. My parents liked him. My mom, my dad, my stepdad, my grandparents really liked him. He was honestly the ideal first boyfriend for, you know, anyone to have, honestly. No notes, other than the fact that we just weren't compatible, and I think I saw that really quickly, and I'm someone that I would rather be alone than with someone that I'm not compatible with, which again is shocking considering how badly I wanted a relationship. Like, if you had told me before I got in a relationship for the first time that I would be the one to end it, I would not believe you. It was not a great breakup. We ended up talking years and years later just about how I was sorry that I ended it the way that I did, and you know, that we were both just immature and not compatible, and he's married and I'm married, and honestly, if I were to see him at the supermarket tomorrow, I would absolutely wave and go up and ask how he was doing, and I would really hope that he would do the same. But after my first relationship, I had completely left behind the mindset that I would not find someone. Now, obviously, once I did start dating, which we will get into all the stories, all the tea, all the good vibes, all the bad vibes, we'll get into that during the Dating with the Difference series. But after all of that, it's just about focusing on what you bring to the table that isn't about looks or anything like that. If I could go back and tell my younger self to relax and know that eventually you're gonna find someone that makes you literally the happiest person and all you had to do was be a little confident in yourself, I would. Because she really needed to hear that. But she figured it out. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of this Dating with the Difference series here on my YouTube channel. I cannot wait to get into more boyfriend stories, the situationships that I've been in, horrible breakups, mutual breakup, just everything that led to me finding that true confidence in myself, and then what led me to find my forever partner, my amazing husband. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to go on this journey with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Go follow my Instagram and my TikTok. All links are down below, and I love you so much. Cheers.